everybody, welcome to my homestead and welcome to my channel. I got an email from Alicia Haraldson, and she was responding to this video that I did a while ago on January 3rd called Why Rabbis Are Saying Messiah's Appearance is Imminent. And so she wrote an email in response, and she says, I was amazed at your video of the Jews because was just thinking about how people are getting ready for something. Some undercurrent is happening that people everywhere are feeling. But is this how the Jews get tricked to the Antichrist? Now, since the time that she wrote this email, because I have a backlog of emails, since that time I've done a bunch of videos about Antichrist because it seems to me, this is just my opinion, I think that the idea of a singular person being the Antichrist of the last days comes from the evangelicals and possibly other Christian denominations. I can't find anything at all whatsoever within the church to support the idea of one super big Antichrist in the last days. Now, there are Antichrists. There were Antichrists during the time of the Book of Mormon. Anyone who is against Christ is an Antichrist. And then, if the Messiah accepts somebody as the Messiah, which it looks like there's rabbis that believe that the Messiah is going to appear. If they recognize that person as the Messiah, then I think in a technical sense you could say that that person is a Antichrist, because just by definition they believe that they are the Messiah and that Jesus Christ is not. So in that sense they're an Antichrist, but there are multiple Antichrists. And so anyway, but go watch my videos about Antichrist. I have a whole playlist with all my thoughts and everything that I've been able to find about it. And I just don't believe in the concept of a singular one person Antichrist. Now, I would agree for sure that both within Judaism and within Christianity, there is an undercurrent that's happening. I totally agree. I've never seen so much excitement and so much focus on the last days, essentially. Now, she puts some links down here and then says, in this video it talks about Australians becoming increasingly non-denominational, but still believing in Christ. Which I thought was interesting when you compare the people in Joseph Smith's day, such as his father, who didn't belong to any church because he couldn't find all the truth. I feel like this prepared many to accept the true gospel. And I think that's right. I think that's right. I think the Lord may have a hand in this, because it used to be that people wouldn't accept the gospel or, our missionaries because they already had a church, and then they would go with the doctrines of that church. But those churches are starting to become dissolved, and people are kind of being freed of certain rigid ideologies or dogmas, So I don't know, but I think that you could be right about this, that, because it's not just the Australians. I've done a video about non-denominationals, and it's happening in the United States. I think it's happening probably throughout all of Christianity. It's a really interesting phenomenon. All right, and then she puts another link and says, this is the video about Muslim conversions, and this one too, with the help of COVID lockdowns. Haha. I have heard there are Muslims converting in large numbers to Jesus Christ through visions and angels because there's no way for them to hear about him. Is this the beginning of the Lord doing his own work? Also, we know that since 2000, a dramatic increase in Christian Jews in Israel went from 200 to 30 to 50,000. It's on One for Israel site. These all have to be signs in preparing people for Messiah to return, or in other words, Jesus Christ. And I've done also a video about Messianic Jews, so if you haven't seen that, go check that out. And I'll probably do more videos about them in the future, because I think that is something that we need to watch, and it definitely could be the Lord's hand preparing the Jews for when Christ comes again. So there are a lot of interesting things that are going on. Now, I'm going to put all these links in the description below so you can go see these for yourself. As far as Muslims converting, I can't substantiate that, but these videos talk about it, and I may do separate videos about that in the future. Okay, so I pulled up all the videos that I've talked about, or sorry, all the websites that I've talked about before, just to give you an idea of how much talk there is right now about a Messiah appearing among the Jews, which again, we wouldn't accept because we're members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and for us, the Messiah is Jesus Christ. But we still should watch this, because if this happens, then yeah, I guess you kind of do have an Antichrist in Israel. And I would probably take it as a sign that the true Messiah, Christ, will come very soon. But like I've speculated before, I think the Jews are possibly being prepared by the Lord, because even though this Messiah may not come, or whatever, it's still getting the people in the mindset of these are the last days, or we're entering a messianic period, because the millennium will be a time when we're with Messiah for 1,000 years. So even though they're looking for a Messiah that's not the true Messiah, their minds are still, I think, being prepared for what's about to happen. So in this article, Jewish Prophecy, will Nova KIC 9832227 in 2002 herald the arrival of the Messiah? Now this is an article from 2017. So this Nova, I guess, is supposed to happen this year. So that's interesting. And I have all these tabs in chronological order going from the oldest to the newest. So 2017, we got this article. Now we're in 2018. Messiah is born, claims renowned rabbi. It says end of times is here. And you can go through this, but he believes that the Messiah has already been born. I think he actually said on Tisha B'Av, yeah, that's when they commemorate the destruction of the temples. It's a day of mourning. But then he talks about, let's see, meanwhile, another rabbi claimed U.S. President Donald Trump's decision to move the U.S. Embassy in Israel to Tel Aviv from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem is part of the prophecy of the Messiah. So Donald Trump has been important to them. Okay, now in 2020, okay, we have Israel's top rabbi. I'm currently in discussions with the Messiah himself. Now that is a really bold claim. That is a really bold claim. Now this is the article that Alicia shared, and I'm going to go through most of it in just a minute, but I'll come back to it. So after this, there is this one from April of the same year, 2020. Following record rainfall, Sea of Galilee overflows, an omen of Messiah's arrival. All right. And then also in 2020, top rabbis, look at the signs, Messiah is coming. And this is one that I already shared in that other video. I also shared this one. Now, this one is a lot more recent. This is December 31st, 2021. Chief Rabbi's refusal to authorize conversions. Sure sign Messiah is imminent. Now, I'm sure that I don't have a comprehensive list of all the different signs or articles that indicate that they believe that Messiah is imminent, but you definitely get the sense here that they really think that it's going to happen soon. And I find it interesting that you have these three, they're in 2020, so it seems like there was an uptick in Messiah talk in 2020, which is interesting because we know that in General Conference on our side, in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, 2020 was a huge uptick in Second Coming talk. And I've quantified that with my table here, my spreadsheet, which the link for this is in the description below if you want to check it out. So you see here, 2020, and then if you go across, like, there has been a big uptick in Enoch talk. The word planet, rising generation has been a thing for a while. In 2020, it's the record number of times that the phrase second coming has been used. Yeah, I think for all time, or, well, when I say all time, I mean back to 1942. Yeah, 2020 has the record for a number of times that second coming has been used in conference talks. Last Days was also pretty big in that year, but you get the idea here. You just look at the colors. It goes from blue to red, using the colors of the rainbow, and if it's red and if it's dark red, then that means a lot. Blue means not very much. But all across the board in 2020, it was nothing but just second coming talk. Just second coming talk. And even if it was only like mentioned once or twice, the fact of the matter is that all these phrases that I've searched, they all appear in 2020, and if not in 2020, then in 2021. So between 2021 and 2020, every single of these second coming phrases have shown up, which cannot be said for any other pair of consecutive years. Okay, so at the same time that the Jews are predicting an imminent appearance of Messiah, we are talking very, very frequently about the second coming of Christ. Now, let's go back to this article that Alicia shared. Okay, Israel's top rabbi, I'm currently in discussions with the Messiah himself. Wowee. Okay. A Haredi rabbi, you know what, I'm going to zoom in more. If it'll let me. No? I'm not allowed? Okay, it's not going to let me. A Haredi rabbi, privy to secrets concerning the Messiah, was sworn to silence for several decades by hidden righteous men, but they have now ordered him for the first time to publicize their messages about current events and the imminent arrival of the Messiah. They tell him that it is literally a matter of life or death. Now, okay, it's going to explain this whole idea of the hidden righteous men. Okay, interview with Rabbi Zischultz. On Saturday night, Yonatan Dadon of Radio 2000, an Orthodox Hebrew language broadcaster, interviewed Rabbi Yaakov Zischultz on his weekly Meleve Malka program. Rabbi Zischultz opened with a disclaimer. Quote, I came to talk not only about what will happen, but about who will merit to be part of the redemption. End quote. Rabbi Zischultz said to Dadon. Quote, a lot of religious people, men with kippot on their heads, I think it's kippot or whatever. Men with kippah on their heads will not merit. Many people who do not appear to be religious. Many people who do not appear to be religious will be on the inside. End quote. So that's interesting because I guess you could say that this is their concept of wheat and tares, right? The ones who are truly genuine inside and not just fakers and not doing things for appearance. So that's kind of interesting. Okay, hidden saintly men. Rabbi Zischultz referred to Rabbi Elazar Menachem Manshak, a leading Lithuanian Jewish Haredi rabbi in Bnei Brak, who passed away. Sorry, I'm not making fun of their names. I just feel like I'm talking like Star Wars language right now. Who passed away in 2001. Okay, Rabbi Shach was one of the greatest rabbis of our generation, but what people did not know was that he was one of the Lamed-Vav Tzaddikim, Rabbi Zishultz said. The rabbi was referring to a Jewish mystical tradition brought in the Talmud, Sanhedrin 97b, that states that, quote, at all times there are 36 special people in the world, and that were it not for them, all of them, even if one of them was missing, the world would come to an end. Okay. In Gematria, Jewish numerology. Now, if you don't know what Gematria is, it's kind of more of like a occult type thing, where what you do is you match up the letters of the alphabet with numbers. So, like in English Gematria, A would have a value of 1, 2 would have a value of B, or A would have a value of 1, B would have a value of 2, C would have a value of 3, and so on. So, okay, so in Gematria, Hebrew numerology, the letters Lamed and Vav combined equal 36. Hence, the hidden righteous men are called lamed-vavniks. Of course. The Lamed-Vav Tzaddikim are also called the Nistarim, concealed ones. Jewish tradition holds that their identities are unknown to each other, and that if one of them comes to a realization of their true purpose, they would never admit it. The lamed-vavniks do not themselves know that they are one of the 36. In fact, tradition has it that should a person claim to be one of the 36, that is proof positive that they are certainly not one. For the sake of these 36 hidden saints, God preserves the world even if the rest of humanity has degenerated to the level of total barbarism. Okay, quote, but there are things the public does have to know right now because the process of Gula, redemption, is about to start happening very quickly and at a fast pace. It is important that people remain calm and steady to act properly in the right time. Rabbi Zishultz explained that he had been charged by these hidden righteous men to break his silence and to begin informing the public of the imminent arrival of the Messiah. Now, based on what we just read, shouldn't that call him into question? Because how would they know if they don't even know that they are the hidden people? Something doesn't make sense to me there. Okay, quote, getting the word out now that the Messiah is closer than ever is a matter of life and death. Haven't you heard of Gog and Magog? That is what's going to happen very soon. Right now, the situation is explosive, more than you can possibly imagine. Everyone needs to know whether they are on the inside or if they're going to be left out. Signs of Messiah appearing. Rabbi Zishultz explained that signs that had been given to signal the arrival of the Messiah are now appearing at lightning-fast pace. Rabbi Dov Cook, a mystic from Tiberias, as everyone knows, is a huge tzaddik, saintly man, Rabbi Zishultz said to Dadon. He is one of the greatest men of our generation, as well as one of the least well-known. The Haredi community knows that he is a great man, but they don't really understand how wondrous a man he is, that his soul rises up to heaven. 10 years ago, Israel was suffering from a horrible drought. Someone asked Rabbi Kook, that's an unfortunate name. Rabbi Kook, when the Kinneret, Sea of Galilee, will be full. Rabbi Kook said, when the Messiah arrives, the Kinneret will be full. In a few weeks, the Kinneret, and so that's where this comes into play, this article a couple months later, where it says that the Sea of Galilee overflows. Okay, in a few weeks, the Kinneret will be full for the first time since Rabbi Kook made his statement. Rabbi Shishol said he gave yet another example. Rabbi David Abu Hatzera is a great tzaddik, and many people go to see him to ask for advice or blessings. One day he changed his custom and began to stand when greeting the public. He asked why he changed his custom. He said that his grandfather, the Baba Sali, came to him in a dream. Baba Sali told him that he had spoken with the Messiah, who said that when he went to speak with Rabbi Abu Hatzera, he was disappointed that the rabbi did not stand up to greet him. Coronavirus. Dayton asked Rabbi Zischoltz if the coronavirus was part of the Gula process. The coronavirus has nothing to do with Israel, the rabbi answered, referring to a verse in Psalms. And here it is. He shall plague peoples in our stead and kingdoms under our feet. Psalms 47:4. Rabbi Zischoltz cited the medieval French biblical commentator Rabbi Shlomo Yitzhaki, who is known by the acronym Rashi. Okay, quote, God has anger for the Jews, but his anger will be taken out through this plague on the idolaters. In truth, the corona was supposed to be on us, but it is on them in order to send a message to the world. There are horrible things in the world that need to be fixed. Immodesty, lustfulness, profanity. God's face of judgment is being seen today by the entire world. He is taking all his anger and judgment and throwing it down as a plague. Now, okay, when did this article come out again? February 2020. So, since that time, coronavirus has definitely been in Israel. So, I don't know if he was thinking that it wasn't going to come to Israel, but it has. It's been in Israel. But I think that it's interesting that he does recognize that God's judgments are coming on the entire world right now. All right, Rabbi Zischoltz then explains several recent statements by Rabbi Chaim Kanievsky, one of the most prominent rabbis of this generation concerning the Messiah. Rabbi Kanievsky is so holy that he has Ruach HaKodesh, Holy Spirit prophecy, Rabbi Zischoltz said. At first, 5 years ago, Rabbi Kanievsky said the Messiah is at the door. Then, a bit later, he said that Messiah already passed the threshold of the door. Not so long ago, he said that Messiah is already here. He most recently told Rabbi Chulak that Messiah is already here with both feet speaking with me. These are various revelations of Mashiach, each one a greater revelation than the previous one. Every word uttered by Rabbi Kanievsky is weighed and doesn't say extraneous words. I no longer travel outside of Israel. The Messiah is so close that I am afraid that I might miss his arrival. Rabbi Kanievsky said the Messiah is here in Israel, but he did not give a precise time when he will be revealed. He is here, but he does not have all the power he needs to act as the Messiah. All the signs given in the Talmud in Jewish tradition have already appeared. Gog and Magog has already started. We are currently in the midst of the war of Gog and Magog. In the war of Gog and Magog, the actual shooting and fighting with physical weapons will only come at the end. That was described in the Bible by the prophets. Most of the war, the beginning, will be a war of faith. Another tzaddik said that all the military operations in the past few years will be a mere sprinkling compared to what is yet to come. There will be a war with Iran, but Israel will not be directly involved. Now, that's interesting, and I could maybe somewhat get on board with that just the fact that so many nations have been against Israel since it's been created. I think that's maybe the true beginnings of the war of Gog and Magog, right? Maybe not the fighting part of the war, but ever since its inception, there have been those that want to destroy Israel. So, yeah, I think that we're probably seeing the beginnings of it. Okay, Israeli elections. Rabbi Zisholtz cited another hidden tzaddik as saying that in this month of Adar, we will see great things. It should be noted that the Israeli elections is in Adar. Another tzaddik said that according to the current situation in heaven, there will not be Israeli elections. Rather, there will be a war. This will be a reaction to the deal of the century. This is the current status, however, it can be changed in heaven. Everything is dependent on Israel repenting or not. At a later point in the interview, Rabbi Zisholtz explained, if the elections do take place, voting the upcoming elections is only necessary to prevent sacrilege. But other than that, it's pointless since it will end like the other elections. No government will come out of it. No one will take the government away from Netanyahu. Now, that's been proven to be false because right now it's Naftali Bennett. Now, his election was very unlikely because they had to do this weird kind of strategy to get rid of Netanyahu, where a bunch of different parties had to kind of consolidate their power in order to do this. And it's my understanding that he's supposed to be the prime minister for the first half of the term, or the first half, whatever, and then it's going to be another guy. I can't remember his name. Whatever, we'll talk about him once it happens. Okay, let's go back. As Rabbi Kaduri and the Luba Victor Rebbe both said, Bibi will be the last prime minister before Messiah. This is the end of the rule of the mixed multitude. We will all see this. Well, that hasn't happened. So now, yeah, a lot of that, there are a number of things that haven't happened clearly. And this was written back in February 18th of 2020. But the important takeaway from all this is that they are getting in a state of excitement about the Messiah. And I think that it is preparing their minds for the second coming. You can check out these other videos. You should especially watch this one because he's basically talking about, he's basically talking about this article, essentially. And he's really excited about it. There's a lot of emotion. This is a Jewish guy. And then you can check out these other ones as well if you want to. So, thank you, Alicia, for sending me the email with this additional information. And yeah, that's it. So if you guys haven't already, please make sure to subscribe. Like this video if you liked it. Leave your comments and thoughts in the comments below. If you have any additional information, either put it in the comments or you can email me. Also, make sure to share this with anyone that might find this interesting, and I'll talk to you guys later.